What's up, everybody? As we prepare for week 10, it is time to get you some waiver wire advice. But first, be sure to like this video, share this video on social media, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to get into it with my quarterback ad of the week from the waiver wire is Tua Tagovailoa. We finally saw what Tua could do. Wasn't super impressive in the first game, even though they did win. But against Arizona, not a great defense. But it was a matchup he should have been able to do well in, and he did. Was also almost became Miami's leading rusher for the game. That's how bad their rushing has been as of late. But Tua, he is going to make some plays on the ground for you, believe it or not. They have a lot of injuries in the backfield. That's only going to help him in terms of fantasy. Plus, he really exploited that Arizona secondary. I know Preston Williams has an injury. But if you do have a quarterback problem and the only guys staying out there are Ben Roethlisberger, who's been inconsistent and is battling an injury now, Matthew Stafford, maybe Kirk Cousins, I would probably add Tua ahead of any of those guys. Maybe for this week, Ben Roethlisberger, because he's going against Cincinnati. But other than that, Tua Tagovailoa is a great ad this week. I believe you can trust him enough now to keep him as a backup. We saw what he can do, and we saw what Miami is really thinking now, what Brian Flores is thinking. They are competing. They are competing for a playoff spot and to make a run in the playoffs. So I believe that they're going to be aggressive, and that's going to help Tua in terms of fantasy. Let's move to the running backs. I have two ads for you this week. Wayne Gallman is the first one. Devante Freeman, he was injured this past week. I don't know if he's going to be out for an extended period of time, but Wayne Gallman has been more efficient in the touches he's gotten. Devante Freeman has done next to nothing, seems out of shape, not near as fast or as shifty as he used to be. So quite honestly, whether Devante Freeman comes back or not, I think Wayne Gallman is going to be the lead back. He's done more with the carries that he's gotten, and he's honestly been more impressive as a pass catcher than what Devante Freeman has thus far. Plus, he also has a somewhat favorable schedule coming up. So if you're in desperate need of a running back, like a lot of people are, maybe you should consider adding Wayne Gallman because I believe he's going to be getting more of the carries than Devante Freeman. The other ad this week is Duke Johnson. David Johnson in concussion protocol. And Duke Johnson's going against his former team, the Cleveland Browns, who have not been that great to against running backs this year. Maybe a decent ad. They give up a lot of catches to running backs out of the backfield. We know that is Duke Johnson's strength. So expect, if David Johnson is out, Duke Johnson to be able to get you double digits in non and half PPR formats potentially. And don't be surprised if he reaches a 20-point game if you are in a full PPR league. The other, let's move to wide receivers here. The first ad is Curtis Samuel, and to be quite honest, I've never been a huge fan of him. Of course, he started off as a running back, moved him out to receiver. Carolina used him all over the place. They'll use him in the backfield, they use him as a receiver, and they're using him a lot on jet sweeps and as a decoy to what Christian McCaffrey and Mike Davis can do as a runner. And he is getting open more and more. We've seen what DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson have been able to do the past 3 or 4 weeks. While they're getting double coverage, they're getting safeties, high safeties, sometimes a linebacker underneath if they only have one high safety. That's leaving Curtis Samuel, in some instances, completely wide open, not covered at all. Other times, he's just on a linebacker, and he is exploiting those matchups because of the speed that he has. And Carolina is using that, so until someone stops him, he is a good flex option right now. He's consistently getting touchdowns. They're tossing it to him in the red zone because he can get to the outside. He can beat pretty much any front seven defender to the corner of the end zone. I believe that he is a really good ad this week. Again, if you are in need of kind of help, especially in the flex. There were a lot of bye weeks this past week. Of course, I had Tyler Boyd and Jarvis Landry, so I had a hard time kind of finding a flex player this week. So, if you're in that same type of shuffle this week, Curtis Samuel is a good ad. I'm going to give you another Samuel, and this one is Deebo Samuel. And I know he hasn't done anything. He's been injured. He was on the COVID list. When he was active, he wasn't doing anything, and now Jimmy Garoppolo is not even the starting quarterback. However, George Kittle is not there. I get that Richie James probably has more of a rapport with Nick Mullins, but Mullins has to throw to somebody. Jordan Reed can't stay healthy. We can't expect him to stay healthy. Plus, he's not even the number one tight end. I believe Ross Dwelly is. So, Deebo Samuel is only 35% owned in NFL.com leagues, and he is the de facto number one wide receiver. So, I think you kind of have to roll with it right now that he's off the COVID list. I believe he is going to be their wide receiver one. I don't know what his ceiling is going to be with Nick Mullins as the quarterback, but all I know is that he's got to throw to someone. And Nick Mullins hasn't been all that terrible, considering that he is a backup. So, if you have a lot of injuries, maybe you have Kenny Galladay, he's been out. You got, several other receivers, maybe Marquise Brown, who hasn't been producing. Maybe you go after Deebo Samuel. That would be more of an ideal situation if you were to add him. But I believe that there is some upside there. A guy that we would not have expected to be on the waiver wire at the beginning of the year. The last one I want to get into is a tight end. And tight end, was not a good week to find a tight end waiver wire ad, but I'm going to give you one. That's Logan Thomas. This week he's going against the Lions, which is not a terrible matchup. We just saw Irv Smith score 2 touchdowns against the Lions. But the thing I want you to focus on is his usage in the offense. He's been playing a lot of snaps this year. This was the first game this past week that he played every single offensive snap. He only had 3 catches, but he did get 6 targets, and that is a good amount of targets at the tight end position in fantasy football. And Alex Smith, being the quarterback right now, he does throw to the tight end more often. He threw to Travis Kelce when that was his tight end. I'm not trying to compare Travis Kelce to Logan Thomas, but he did target the tight end a lot in Kansas City. And we know that Ron Rivera, of course, he had ties with Greg Olsen. He made the tight end a focal point of that offense in Carolina. I believe that with Alex Smith as the quarterback, Logan Thomas can produce. With the 6 targets he had, and he played every single offensive snap, they're going to use him. And outside of Terry McLaurin, they don't have anyone. Cam Sims, I believe, is their number 2 wide receiver right now. So Logan Thomas is a guy that's going to get used. And if you are in dire need of a tight end, I don't think you're going to do a whole lot better than Logan Thomas this week. So there's your 6 ads. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. If you haven't subscribed, get subscribed so you get notifications whenever a new fantasy football video is out, so you can get the best start and sit advice, the best trade advice. And don't forget, if any of you subscribed, not subscribed, liked, disliked the show, if you have fantasy football questions or comments, put them in the comment section. I will answer them for you in the comment section. So get those questions coming. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.